I would say that burn goldfishes at around turn 5, maybe turn 4 with a really good draw. It might be able to do a turn 4 with Price of Progress, but that's kind of out of the question here. Whereas the Omnitel deck goldfishes on turn 3. It can win on turn 2, but it fairly regularly, excuse me, will it be able to win on turn 3 through no resistance.
But Doug found a way in the quarterfinals. He's going to try to find a way here. Keldon Marauders. Brian leans in. What does that card do?
It's a 2-mana Lava Axe. Don't worry about it.
It deals 1 damage when it enters the battlefield. It's a 3/3. It has...
Vanishing 2.
I was going to say fading, but
no,
that's the old version.
It is vanishing.
Vanishing.
And it is Force of Willed. I'm not going to take 5. I'm going to take 1. Pitch 2 cards.
That's not bad for Doug Honeycutt to have that Force of Will, is it?
No, it's not bad, but, I mean, it's just like another full turn that Brian Hood gets, you know?
And that's the Ancient Tomb
that is a
from
double
the
land.
Vault Realms.
And that does turn on the Price of Progress in Doug Honeycutt's hand. He also has a Flame Rift, which is quite good. And a Young Pyromancer, which is a little slow, but...
He's going to try it.
Yeah.
This is our first time seeing the Young Pyromancer cast by this burn deck.
Ooh, he also has a Flame Blast as his last card.
A Cunning Wish in response by Brian Hood. That is the Judge foil version of Cunning Wish.
I don't think I've ever seen that one. I knew it existed, but I don't think I've seen the art
plenty.
for it. Yep, so he gets an Intuition. So now he's probably going to Intuition for either Show and Tell or the thing to Show and Tell into play.
Yeah.
And then the next
Depends
turn,
on which
go
one
for the
he
win.
has. So yeah, that Young Pyromancer may not be fast enough here.
Yep.
Brian Hood with a Flooded Strand. And that can only get islands.
Yep. It's just used as a shuffle effect for things like Brainstorm or Ponder, and he does have a Brainstorm here. Draws 3. Grip full of blue cards. You only need 3. Show and Tell, Omniscience, Enter the Infinite.
I love the names of the cards in this deck. Enter the Infinite. Release the Ants. there's a little theme going on there. Just make sure you don't mix it up when you're registering your deck. Enter the Ants. Release the Infinite. What?
Show the Infinite. Pact of Tell.
Okay, Brainstorm resolves.
This is kind of funny.
The fetch land, which not insignificant, deals another point to Brian Hood.
Showing Telling in an Omniscience from a flavor standpoint is actually pretty funny. It's just like, oh, what did you bring to school, Timmy? Oh, I brought all knowledge in the universe.
Everything.
I am the one, the end, the be-all.
Show and Tell also recently made as a Judge foil, and I really love the art on the new version. As you said, the original version of it really seems like Show and Tell at class.
It is. It's at the Tellurian Academy.
Whereas the new version is actually what's going on with the spell. These two wizards are saying, here's my giant monster behind me.
That's pretty awesome. I'll have to look at that. Show and Tell does resolve, so he doesn't even need the Intuition. Oh, he's just putting an Emrakul into play. He's not going off. He's just going to kill him. I almost said the old-fashioned way, but attacking with an Emrakul isn't exactly the old-fashioned way.
It's like the medium-fashioned way.
It's, I don't know if that's what Richard Garfield had in mind when he first made Magic the Gathering.
So the interesting thing here is that Doug Honeycutt, with that Young Pyromancer, could actually...
Ooh, Lava Spike's a really good draw. Yeah, he could get above 6 permanents.
Make a bunch of 1/1s to sacrifice to the Annihilator here, and maybe even get a chump block in and survive one swing from Emrakul.
Yeah, and Brian Hood is pretty low. If he...
That would be something else.
Let's see. He's representing
Took another
7,
2 from
8,
Ancient
9,
Tomb.
10. Is this lethal?
Flame Rift deals 4. I'm going to...
Flame Rift,
Elemental Token.
Lava Spike, Fire Blast is
8.
lethal. if we have the right life totals, which I have no reason to think that we don't.
Reinhood goes to 7. Lava Spike. Take him to 4.
He should have 2 elementals as well.
I
But
don't think he cares at this
yeah,
point,
he's
although
either
he should, just in case.
He's either winning or losing. We're pretty sure, and that is it.
And he does it again.
Wow.
Doug Honeycutt, the hero of this story, improbable odds against infinite odds.
Brian Hood did a little dirtling there, and he also took 4 damage off of an Ancient Tomb.
Did he take? Yeah, because
He cast Cunning Wish
Wish,
and
then-
Show and Tell,
yeah.
and that was enough to let Doug Honeycutt finish him off.
He also had the Force of Will, Fetch Land.
Yeah, Fetch Land and a Force of Will. Also a point each, so he did 6 damage to himself.
Honeycutt, Honeycutt. Can you hear that starting up?
The crowd's going wild. It's an empty convention center. There's no
Yeah,
crowd.
well, lots of people watching at home, and we want to give you guys some more premium. So we want to give you 6 months of premium this time. And I've got a trivia question for you. The last trivia question, the answer was the Worcester Open,
What's that?
and we did not require you to spell it correctly. And the answer to this one, I'm not going to require you to spell it correctly
You're so nice.
either. My question is, earlier this morning, we crowned a champion.
Earlier this morning, what did I eat for breakfast?
Omelet. I can't spell that.
But, I'm sorry, continue.
Earlier this morning, we crowned a champion in the Standard Open. It was the final Standard Open with Innistrad in rotation. What is the name of
The dude with the trophy.
the dude with the trophy, the Standard Open champion here in Atlanta?
Last name Biscuits.
You do not have to spell his name correctly. Tweet at the hashtag SCG Premium. And no rush. If you want to spell his name correctly, you can do a little research on that,
Yeah, there might be a website where you could see it.
perhaps.
I wouldn't know the link though. Google it.
Wikipedia.com.
Yeah,
It's on there already.
Yep. So tweet that at SCG Live. Make sure to hashtag SCG Premium. And if you get the right answer, then you'll be entered in our little lottery.
Randomly
and we
selected
will,
to win 6 months of premium.
6 whole months.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
Honeycutt.
Again. Out of nowhere. He's got enough burn spells. He did it. And you said he doesn't have the Pyroblast.
Yeah, he has 0 Pyroblasts or Red Elemental Blasts.
Is he going to be able to do anything post sideboard?
Well, it's... If we look at the other side, we have a... Yeah, Angel of Despair and Detention Sphere do work against Show and Tell, but I'm more concerned of a card in the other sideboard.
What does he have?
4 Leyline of Sanctity. That is a tough one to beat.
Can't really beat it.
Yeah.
Flame Rift doesn't target.
Flame Rift and Price
And
of Progress, which I assume are
creatures?
coming out. Yeah, creatures can still attack. I don't think that even the Marauder ping works, so that's just a one-time hit 3/3.
Super awkward.
Yeah, so that one's gonna be a little scary. So basically what he's gonna try and do is steal a game with his Angels of Despair, right? Like he's gonna try and
Yeah.
get a very specific type of draw that is creature heavy and has an Angel.
Yeah.
Or he could just hope that Brian Hood misses on his Leyline of Sanctity, like doesn't have a Leyline of Sanctity in this opener, or a nut draw. Although I think if Brian Hood doesn't have a nut draw or a Leyline of Sanctity, then he's not keeping.
So yeah, the Keldon Marauders, you question whether it targets player. The
Does it?
triggered ability does deal 1 damage to target player.
Well, there you go.
So if a Leyline of Sanctity hits the board, he would be forced to target himself with the 2
Awkward.
pings. Meaning
Awkward.
it's just a 3/3 that attacks once.
That's not the best Magic card I've ever heard of.
I'm so
Take 2 damage, attack for 3 once.
I'm so sad that Leyline of Sanctity could be the undoing for Doug Honeycutt's burn quest here.
Yes. But we've said that before, and Honeycutt's pulled it out. So let's see what he can do here.
This deck these burn decks seem so fun because every game seems this way.
Yeah, it's just the sweat. Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, I'm dead, I'm dead, oh no, you're dead.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Every game there's two types of games, right? With burn, either you're drawing to half your deck, or you're drawing to like a 4-hour.
Oh, and there it is.
There's the ley line.
I've got it in my opening hand, says Brian Hood.
There's a Flame Rift. Lightning Bolt doesn't do anything.
Such a devastating card.
Yeah.
And props to Brian Hood for having it in his sideboard.
Yeah, or it's a really powerful sideboard card from these show and tell decks. Normally for discard.
Yeah,
Also
exactly.
good against combo. Also very good against burn.
There you go, Leyline of Sanctity. I'm very familiar with this art. It's hanging on my wall at home.
That's a good art to have. I like that.
It's beautiful.
Flame Rift Us.
One of the
For a
few
piece.
burn spells that does something here. Doug Honeycutt.
With no creature, he really needed a Goblin Guide or a Young Pyromancer or even a Hellspark Elemental. Something that is a more sustainable source of damage against the ley
against
line.
this Leyline of Sanctity, Doug Honeycutt would be forced to take some interesting lines. Like if he had a Young Pyromancer out, he could still cast a Keldon Marauders and then, deal himself a damage, attack for 3.
Bolt his own Keldon Marauders, get a 1/1.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. Like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, turn his Lightning Bolts into Mons Goblin Raiders.
Gotta do something here. Flame Rift dealt 4 damage, and Brian Hood notably on 2 islands. So no fetch land damage, no ancient tomb damage as of
No
yet.
vulnerability to Price of Progress either.
Well, he had an island, but he elects to go with the fetch land, so...
He knows his top card from Brainstorm, so apparently he doesn't like it. Keldon Marauder, target me.
Yeah, awkward.
That is awkward. He's got 3 Lightning Bolts and a Lava Spike in his hand. And a Detention Sphere. He does have a Detention Sphere.
No, Brian Hood, force of willing that Keldon Marauders.
Pitching a Dream Halls, too. Dream Halls is a card that is going to be really good because it allows you to cast your Omniscience without show and telling it into play, which gets Detention Sphere. It's that you can't play Dream Halls and then pass, because then Doug Honeycutt could actually cast an Angel of Despair, pitching an Angel of Despair, or Detention Sphere. But yeah, you can go off without show and telling, basically, with Dream Halls.
I have to wonder if Brian Hood right there forgot about the Leyline of Sanctity and the effect it has against Keldon Marauders, because he force of willed that. It's only a 3/3 that attacks once.
Yeah, he
so
spent 2 cards to gain 2 life.
Yeah. Maybe he thought it was the full 5 damage, forgetting that those triggers cannot target him.
Yeah. Much rather save that Force of Will for either a sustainable damage source, such as Young Pyromancer or Goblin Guide, or Grim Lavamancer,
Well,
which
the
I guess attacks for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something like a Flame Rift, which, would deal 4 damage. Also, if you hold the Force of Will, eventually you'll be able to hard cast it, such as right now, rather than spending another card and a life.
And
Mons Goblin
depending
Raiders.
on how this game goes, that Grim Lavamancer itself may deal more than 3 damage.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
So-
saying. I agree with you. I think he may have made a slight misstep there, not realizing that the Leyline of Sanctity did shut down the Keldon Marauders' triggered abilities.
And as you said, he pitched a Dream Halls to the Force of Will, which now he could have cast the Dream Halls. Stumbling here is Brian Hood. Maybe.
Ooh, there's an Ancient Tomb, which does... Is this going to be a show and tell? It's tapping 3 at sorcery speed. That would be...
And look at Doug Honeycutt is fingering both.
Oh, it's a Cunning Wish. Alright. Well,
So main phase Cunning Wish.
the Ancient Tomb
Gonna go
does
to
make
his
Price of
sideboard.
Progress deal a couple damage, so that's something.
What is he getting from his sideboard here?
Likely Intuition. Usually when you're cunning wishing in a spot where it's not like very obvious what you're getting, intuition is kind of the go-to. It's just, you're tutoring for demonic tutor basically. Mystical for demonic for Lotus.
The very small edges here.
He's getting a force of will.
Interesting. What is...
I think Brian Hood is overreacting a little to his role as the control in this matchup.
Getting a force of will, cunning wishing for a force of will kind of feels like spinning your wheels in the mud.
Yeah,
for a combo
here comes
deck.
another Keldon Marauder. Let's see if Brian Hood chooses to force will this one too. Ooh, he does.
Pitching a force of will. So again, only saving himself 2 damage, the Keldon Marauders would be forced to target Doug Honeycutt with the triggered abilities. And then it would only be a 3/3 that attacks once before vanishing away.
This is a very weird game. We have Brian Hood down to 11. Gonna be going to 10 from this Grim Lavamancer attack. Mountain Miracled into play. Doug Honeycutt's hand is a bunch of blanks, Angel of Despair, and Detention Spheres. So Brian Hood certainly cannot either show and tell or play Dream Halls and pass. He has to do everything that he's doing off of Dream Halls and in one turn.
What if he hardcasts Omniscience?
He's a little ways away from that, but yeah, he
1, 2,
actually
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
he needs 3 more. That's pretty close.
Another island in an ancient tomb or a city of traders?
Yeah, it is doable.
Have you ever seen an Omniscience get hardcast?
I actually have. It does not happen very
Was
often.
it in
though.
limited?
Well, here comes Dream Halls.
Ooh.
And
So
Dream Halls, in
let's get
case you
Dream
don't
Halls,
know.
yeah.
We'll pull it up for you. It essentially turns all of your cards into Force of Wills.
Well, you say force of wills, you mean the pitch part of it, not counter spells.
Right.
If it has a matching color, you can pitch it, exile it to cast the spell without paying its mana cost.
Right. And so here we go. It is pitch intuition for... Oh, that's Enter the Infinite. I thought that was Omniscience. I was wondering why Doug Honeycutt was scooping. But yeah, it's Enter the Infinite, draws his entire deck, and winning from there is just the formality. So Brian Hood basically wins single-handedly with Leyline of Sanctity. He ended that game at, what, 10-ish life? When
High single digits, I think.
yeah,
Maybe.
and Doug Honeycutt had about 15 points of burn in his hand.
Yeah, Leyline of Sanctity did it, but also very notable that Brian Hood chose to Force of Will Keldon Marauders, which
Yeah.
was not representing that much damage, not the most damage certainly out of Doug Honeycutt's deck.
Yeah.
So if this happens again in Game 3, that could be the kind of window
Yeah, that's an exploit that Honeycutt can use in this Game 3.
he can use those Keldon Marauders as counter bait to get more damage through some other spell.
Yep.
Something like a young Pyromancer could represent a lot more damage down the line.
Absolutely. On the other side of the bracket, we have Chi Hoyim up 1-0 with his Shardless Bug deck. I thought this match was going to be so fast in Omnitel's favor, but Burn took Game 1, and then Game 2 lasted a long time. And actually was, I don't want to say close, but it was close to being close.
It was. I actually do think it was close. We do know that Doug Honeycutt has some non-targeted burn spells in his deck, and he has some creatures, so at some point there, if he had drawn a Goblin Guide instead earlier in that sequence...
What do you think about boarding in...
If the Grim Lavamancer had been a Goblin Guide...
Yeah? What do you think about boarding in Pyrostatic Pillars?
From the burn deck?
Yeah.
So that's gonna deal some damage. Is it gonna deal enough damage? Or are you saying just because it's non-targeted?
Yeah, just for Leyline of Sanctity, you might deal a little damage to him from cantrips.
Yeah, Pyrostatic Pillar, whenever a player casts a spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, It deals 2 damage to that player, so 3 or less from Brian Hood's deck is the Ponders and the Preordains, Brainstorms. Yeah, even the Show and Tell.
The Show and Tell, the Intuition, the Cunning Wish, yeah.
Yeah, if he hasn't already brought him in, especially after seeing the...
Ley lines.
Maybe just take out some of the targeted burn.
Yeah.
Not a bad thought.
Ooh, Goblin Guide in the opener.
Yes.
And was that a Pyrostatic Pillar or a Sulfuric Vortex? Either way, that's what he's gonna need to be able to win this.
Pumping both of my fists.
And there's the Leyline of Sanctity.
Don't care, attacking for 2. Trigger reveals.
Enter the Infinite. Good thing that was a Goblin Guide reveal and not a Dark Confidant.
Take 2.
This is the type of draw. He's got a Flame Rift and one of the enchantments. I couldn't tell which it was.
Could he do it again through a ley line? Sanctity, Brian Hood plays a fetch land. That's another point of damage. Really don't want those fetch lands in this matchup.
Yeah.
Goblin Guide attacks for 2, reveals another fetch land, so
Yeah.
it gives them a land, but it's another point of damage.
And it looks like it is Pyrostatic Pillar, and it looks like it is coming down. I like this sideboard choice a lot. Really non-intuitive
Brian
sideboard
Hood
choice, but
leans in, has to read this.
yeah.
Now we're seeing that glimmer of hope for the burn deck, AJ.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
He's got a Flame Rift and a Flame Blast, a Fire Blast, and 2 lands. There's Pyrostatic Pillar. So now all of Brian Hood's cantrips are going to
All of
cost
his
him
search
2
effects.
life. Is that a Hellspark Elemental drawn? That's a big draw, if that's what it was.
Goblin Guide attacks again.
Gives him a land.
So the thing you gotta watch out for, especially with a sideboard card that you don't play
Oh,
with
it's Grim
very-
Lavamancer. Sorry. Continue.
a sideboard card you don't play with very often is this is a triggered ability, that Pyrostatic Pillar. You don't want to forget about it. So he remembers for his own spell. He says, well, Flame Rift, I'll take 2 myself, so 6 to me, 4 to you. Takes
It's like a
Brian Hood
reverse
to-
char.
Takes Brian Hood to 10. Grim
Lavamancer,
Lavamancer
I'll
deals,
take 2 more.
but now Grim Lavamancer, it's another attacker. It's another chip away card. Brian Hood,
Hand full of cards.
will he be forced to play that Flooded Strand that was revealed? 10 life.
Looks
An
like an
Ancient Tomb?
Ancient Tomb.
Is he just gonna go for it?
I was gonna say
Takes
he must have the win. That's the only reason he would go Ancient Tomb, tap it immediately here.
Show and Tell.
What did you bring to class?
Take 2 from the Pyrostatic Pillar. He remembers.
Omniscience.
Mountain.
And the Enter the
Enter the
Infinite that we
Infinite.
saw, and that should be it.
No, but wait a minute. The Pyrostatic Pillar.
What is going on here?
He's casting Fire Blast. which you
Targeting
can't. Leyline of
yourself?
Sanctity. So likely he's going to get a game rule violation there for casting a spell with an illegal target.
Enter the Infinite resolves. Dark Honeycutt's actually at 16? If you were at 15, then the win is easy here. Since he has that 1 extra life, gonna have to get a little creative.
Yeah, so Honeycutt took 2 off of casting
Brendan's at 6 now.
the Flame
If
Rift.
that life total is accurate, he can just Cunning Wish for Rushing River, and then release the Ant to kill.
He is at 6 life. And he leans in to read Pyrostatic Pillar again. He has drawn his entire library. He's drawn cards equal to the number of cards in his library.
Thank you.
And he's going to have to put one of them back into his empty library. No, you got to put one of them back.
Yeah, he is not done resolving Enter the Infinite, as far as I know.
Put that card back. does get the Rushing River,
Rushing
as you
River.
said.
Not Raging River, Rushing River.
That is the bounce a permanent kicker.
Kicker, sack, land, bounce another permanent.
So he's going to take
It might
another 2.
Even be non-land permanent. There, you see it? Yes, it is non-land permanent. I remember that from my vintage days.
He goes to 2 life, but has now dealt with the... And see, now Doug Honeycutt is reading Enter the Infinite. It says, you didn't put a card on top of your library.
Yep, he's got to do that. I mean, obviously he's putting his Emrakul back, but he actually has to physically finish resolving his spell.
So now, game rule violations all around.
Yep.
1 for you, 1 for me. So failure to maintain game state. I'm just gonna judge this from over here. Give me the match result slip. So close. The Pyrostatic Pillar almost had it. Again,
I like that sideboard choice a lot.
if the Grim Lavamancer, that second one, had been another Goblin guy, that's 2 hasted damage.
Yep.
And it would have sealed the deal. Such a shame if it ends in this fashion for Doug Honeycutt. 2 damage short, almost killing his opponent through a Leyline of Sanctity.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to sort out the confusion around the Enter the Infinite here. Is there a universe where the ruling is that we've moved too far and you can't put a card back?
It's always possible. It's also possible that maybe Brian Hood has picked up several game rule violations already in the course of the tournament.
That is also possible, yes.
And if it's his 3rd or more, could get upgraded to a game loss. But it doesn't look like that's the case.
Why is he shuffling his hand library?
I'm not sure. Are you gonna put a random card on top? He gets to choose. We would rewind to a point where he's resolving Enter the Infinite. I don't know if that's his library now or his hand.
Wow, it's a random card on top?
What?
That makes the release the ants kill impossible. Now I have to look at his deck list. How does he win? Emrakul is not lethal.
He can cast a brainstorm though.
No, he cannot. With a 1-card library, he dies.
Oh yeah.
Drawn from an empty deck.
He just cast Enter the Infinite again. That's how he does it.
Oh, there you go. I was actually panicked for a second there. I was like, what happens?
This time he remembers immediately to put a card into his empty library. Cunning Wish.
I like how he has 2 foiled Cunning Wishes, but they're mismatched. It's like the promo and the other one.
Would that tilt you if you were the opponent?
No, I would just point it out to him and pretend like it tilted me.
And he had another Enter the Infinite, not the Emrakul, so only 12.
Only 12.
Not the 15.
All right, class 12. What do you have?
13, bro. What do you have? Oh, so close.
That one physically
Doug
hurt you. I
Honeycutt.
could tell.